Hey gang, this is Scott, Franchiseinsight.net. I wanted to go back to a topic from a couple days ago and hang in there with me. I don't really mean to beat this to death, but it's an important topic. So here we go. It ties back to Julie Su, the Labor Secretary, the state of California, and some changes she has made that have been pretty dramatic in their impact on the landscape of how companies and subcontractors and freelance employees can work together, or in this case, not work together. So what I wanted to do, please refer back to that. There's probably a little bit more detail and setup in that. I'm going to try not to just go back over everything, but let me just real quick say 70 million people in this country, largely by choice in this group of 70 million, work under the umbrella of subcontractor and 1099 employee. Okay, why do they do that? They do it because it gives them flexibility. A lot of times they can earn more money. They can pick and choose projects and people, companies they want to work with. So that's why. Companies, on the other hand, it works for them because they can bring in labor as needed to help with seasonal spikes or to help with a contract that maybe they've won and they don't want to pay to onboard people just to then lay them off and pay unemployment benefits when the project's over. So everybody wins. Okay? So there's the background of how many people in this country actually participate in this type of labor engagement. So, Julie Su, Labor Secretary of the State of California, is now the Biden nominee for Labor Secretary, and in all likelihood would bring this same ideology to the national stage so that all states could be in a place of enjoying this new regulatory environment, where in the past everybody has very simply just made decisions that, these are great terms, I can work for you under a 1099 arrangement, and then when I'm done, I can go off and do something else that I want to do. I can go see family or vacation, and then take on the next project whenever I want to. So, the importance in bringing this up is, and the reason I say, hey, whether you're in the market to buy a franchise or a business, or you're just somebody that maybe is retiring from a career and thinking you're going to do some consulting or 1099 work, it could be limited if this gets unleashed. And the point here is not my politics. I mean, I'm bringing them up, but the point here is for you to understand how quickly things can change and the awareness you need to have about not just your local market and ordinances and laws and things that change, but state level and national level. What's really going on? It's a lot of money you're potentially going to plunk down on a business, so you need to be aware. So the detail I want to bring to the table tonight is the litmus test that is in place for this categorization, classification, whatever it is, for you to be deemed a worthy or compliant, allowable resource under subcontractor guidelines. Okay, now try not to refer to notes. We're going to see how sharp my mind is this evening. It's 3-part litmus test, I'll call it. You got to be golden with each one. So let me go through them. Control is the first one. Control is pretty easy in my mind. I've worked 1099 engagements before. Control just says the company can't control you. They can't control your schedule. What they'll likely do is give you a scope of work. They'll recommend when they would like for you to work and when they want you to be available. If you don't perform, they just tell you to get lost and they go find somebody that can do the work. So there's never really been an obstacle in my mind with this one. So we're going to give that one a big green check mark and say we're good with control. Next is trade. Trade's really goofy in my mind. It basically says if historically you have earned money in a subcontractor role, then you got to stay in that lane. You can't all of a sudden reclassify yourself as something different than what you have historically made your living as a 1099 employee. So let's say you're a programmer, you write code, you got to stay in that lane. So I don't get it, but it's there. That's how it's written. So let's just say we've met the qualifications there, because most times people are going to kind of stay in their lane. So green check, we're good with the first two. The last one, scope, is where it goes right off the rails, okay? Scope says that the company, the entity, small, mid-size, and large, that is bringing aboard this labor, if they already employ people who do a certain job function, task, they've got job descriptions, they've got staff that already write, I'll go back to the IT equation, they've already got these people that write code. You can't bring in people in a freelance role to write code, so you have to hire them. So now this business's opportunity to bring in staff for a 3-month project that they don't need long-term people, that again, they got to pay to onboard, only to turn around and lay them off, has now been impeded, and you can't have the natural kind of working with ebbs and flows in business. And then the people that do the 1099 work, now their opportunity is limited because these entities can't bring them aboard. So crazy that, in my mind, that anything like this would be put out there. All it does is seem to kind of squash personal freedom and limit a company's ability to bring people aboard. There's probably people out there that, feel like, well, companies are greedy and they need to hire everybody, and whatever. If you think that, then you probably shouldn't be looking at a business to buy, right? And you're probably not even watching the video. So if you're watching this, you're probably not saying that. So be aware of the landscape. I bring this up to everybody because, again, if you're a teacher, you're retiring thinking you're going to get a consulting gig, or you've worked in the technology field for a long time and you're going to be out there wanting to be a technical consultant, opportunities could be limited in the future. So everybody kind of needs to be aware as these goofy things get kicked around and thrown around in states, how they could eventually impact you. So there we go, gang. Last time I'm talking about this one. And the last thing I will say is, if I've misrepresented something here and there's a detail that you're aware of, please go to franchiseinsight.net, leave me an email, and I will come back in a future post and give you full credit for correcting me. Hopefully there's something I missed. I'd love for somebody to tell me of some grand reason why this is an outstanding idea, because I certainly know that I've seen Ms. Sue paraded around like she is a wizard in labor ideas. So please leave me a note, and I'll come back out and say, you know what, man, I missed this. This is a really good reason why they're doing this. Again, I can't think of anything other than this thought that business is bad and business needs to hand out full benefits to everybody, and that this 1099 subcontractor arrangement just is really taking advantage of people, when that's not the case. So, last time I'm saying it, thanks for hanging in. Be back to you soon.